Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Sesternino back to kick off an exciting new summer series. And actually, some would say it's an old summer series because we are getting ready to rewatch Australian Survivor 2021 Brains versus Brawn with the queen of international Survivor. Here she is, Shannon Gus. Shannon, how are you?
I'm great, Rob. Thanks for having me. Someone say
We're
not even summer.
doing it.
We're
We're doing
doing
the
it.
thing. Yes. Is
I
it
didn't know if it
winter
was
for
a
you?
bit. Yeah, it's winter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All
So,
right. Off season. So,
it's
U.S.
all
Survivor off season series.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. Okay. And
Survivor off season series.
yes. All
Proper
right.
off season, which is crazy. For the
Yeah. A
first time in
proper
2
off
years,
season.
I've not had an off season.
Well,
So
and you still don't.
yeah, exactly. That's what I got a message today from my friend Dino. He's like, "Oh, are you going to be missing Survivor coverage?" I'm like, well, I'm doing the Academy with Rob, the Patreon podcast, and
Mm-hmm.
then we're
Just
doing
recorded.
Brains versus Brawn. So no, because I don't have even a week off, which is how I like it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So let's answer some questions. This is just going to be a quick one here today. We're just going to formally announce that we are doing this. We were toying with the idea during the most recent Australian Survivor season, which was incredible,
Yeah.
and it really did, whet my appetite for more Australian Survivor. And at a time when we have a little bit of a gap in our schedule as we are waiting for Survivor to return in the fall, this was a great time to do something that I have long wanted to do and watch the origin story of some of our faves from this most recent season of Australian Survivor and see the origin story here in Brains versus Brawn.
Yeah. So we talked about that on the podcast, and like most things with that check-in series, we were just producing it on the fly. I didn't know if it was a bit. I was like, have I really been roped into this?
Mm-hmm.
Is this something we're actually
Why
doing?
not? Why not?
Why not? You
Yeah.
know? There is
So,
no reason why not. I literally can't think of one right now at all.
and a lot of people said, hey, let's go along. And I would do that. I would rewatch that season. And it was going on in 2021 at a time when I was in the midst of doing the top 40 season countdown. Should we do that again?
Yes, but it was Australian Survivor seasons.
Oh my God. Okay. And you'll rewatch one a week.
24 episodes, sometimes
Yes.
26.
Yeah. So basically, if you could just stay awake for, I don't know, the episodes are too long. I guess maybe you watch on 1.5 and stay up for 24 hours.
That's the
You
math.
could do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to
And
do that. I don't want another thing as a bit and then it's a real
okay,
thing.
no, it's not.
That
We're
one
not
was
really
a
doing
joke.
that. We're
Yeah.
not really doing that. Okay. But what we are going to do is starting next week on June 8th, we are going to begin bringing you one podcast a week where Shannon and I are going to get together and we'll have gone through the latest 3 episodes. So 3 episodes a week for 8 weeks to get through Australian Survivor 2021.
Yeah. So because we're producing this on the fly, because that's the vibe. What's the spoiler policy of this old season?
So
Here's my idea. You have an idea? Okay,
yeah.
good. We're producing on the fly. That's good. What's
Okay,
your idea?
good. I mean, the spoiler policy is, I think that there definitely will be people like in the YouTube comments and saying, people like this is a 2-year-old
Yeah,
season,
that's a two.
so
That's totally
we
fine.
we,
That is not the same as spoiling a real
we
season.
can't be policing the spoilers like
No, but for us, for
but for
ourselves,
us.
because I've
So
obviously covered the
I would
season.
prefer if you would not spoil things for me that I don't already know.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Good.
I watched a season of Survivor two
Yeah.
years later with a lot of returning players where they talked about things that happened in this season. So in a weird way, I feel like that the spoiler policy should be, let's discuss things that were, mentioned from the
Yeah.
season I already watched. And
I
then
love the
don't
prequel. So good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then let's not spoil like things
Anything.
unnecessarily.
I think first episode of the podcast, which is also a week of Survivor we covered together, but we're gonna do it again.
Mhm.
And you tell me everything you know about the season, and
Mhm.
that's our
Yes.
baseline of spoilers,
Yes.
and nothing
And
else ever gets told.
yeah, basically I would say without naming names, like I know who wins the season and I know who the finalists are, and other than that I know nothing.
Interesting. All right, and that's what we'll go with.
Hmm.
Yeah, Mike
And
had to do this with me because we watched Survivor South Africa season, and he'd seen it. I hadn't. I think that went
mhm.
pretty well. It's very. I think it's pretty doable.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And again, it's really more about the journey. It's more about the vibes than necessarily like the week to week outcome. But I mean, we do have that one North Star of like, we know where this is going to all end up. I don't know how we get there.
Maybe at the end. Okay, I love this on the something about podcasting with you. Like we come up with the ideas on the podcast. And it's like there's a creative energy, but on the
Yes.
fly producing. At the end of every podcast, you give like top 3 predictions for the next week, and then I know in my mind
Hmm.
if you're right or
Yeah.
wrong, and I silently judge you.
Yes, silently judge me, tell like where it's going, and I'll be honest about like if I'm spoiled or not.
No, don't.
And
Oh,
you
okay,
know,
that's what makes me feel
if
wrong.
I
Yeah,
know more than I'm
yeah.
letting on, but
Mm.
I think that it's just going to be fun. It's tell us, Shannon, as somebody who's seen the season, why are we in for a treat?
Brains versus Brawn is a controversial season of Survivor.
Oh,
Do
I
you
didn't
know?
know
Yeah.
that. I didn't know it was
No.
controversial.
I love that season. Some people will tell you they hate it. I don't want to give spoilers. I want to say it's a big season. It's not boring. It's never boring. There are some twists that
Hmm.
are enraging, and I won't,
Hmm.
but I do think like sometimes I feel like I have to say that because I've always said that the season should come with a safety warning. This is that safety warning. It bastardizes the concept to a degree, but then it's so fun. So you have to sell your soul a little bit. You might want to take a shower and be like,
Okay.
is this the format that I'm endorsing? What am I willing to give up for an entertaining product? And that's something we can grapple with, I think, through the season. But ultimately, I think it does, some things incredibly well. There are some top tier global characters, some of which, Rob has met, but like, some really, really fun stuff. Some of my favorite moments in Global Survivor history. And it's a big season. That's that's not what you were expecting. You weren't expecting the controversy. So
Hmm. Yeah, no, I wasn't expecting it, but okay, I'm up for it.
I
Okay.
love it. I really love this season. I loved covering it. It was one of my favorite seasons to cover. And I think it would be a really, really fun time. And I think especially knowing going in the safety warning I just gave. Now everyone knows, be prepared. And also,
It's
we're
one
gonna
of
have
the
a fun
rules.
time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, in terms of how people are going to watch it, what I can tell you is that if you're a patron of Rob is a Podcast, we make it very easy for you to watch all of the international seasons of these shows. And of course, this would be no exception. Very easy to do if you're a patron of Rob is a Podcast. For others, however you are finding the episodes, join us for 3 episodes a week starting in the first full week of June. And our coverage will be coming to you on Thursday nights, 1 episode a week. We'll probably be like about like 60-minute, 90 minutes. So it's not a huge
The check-ins.
podcast commitment on your end. And then we're going to be going all the way through it. And that should dovetail nicely into finishing right before the start of US Big Brother.
Yeah. So we're gonna do 3 episodes a week. For those who haven't watched Australian
We'll
Survivor, those
watch
are
3 episodes a week.
yeah, we're gonna watch 3 episodes of Survivor a week, which is what it was at the time until the final week where they split it. It was weird. But we're gonna do 8 weeks, 3 a week, 1.5 the challenges.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
this is how much content we watch for Australian Survivor. Like this is how we do it. So
Yeah. And of
yeah.
course, you could hear all of it when you're subscribed to our podcast feeds. Go to robisawebsite.com/subscribe. And this is a rare treat that we're going to get be on video also on our YouTube channel.
Yes. So if you've enjoyed the check-ins for Heroes versus Villains,
Mhm.
if you enjoy Brains versus Brawn, if you think you could enjoy Brains versus Brawn, if you like Rob and or me, hopefully both.
Mhm.
If you have nothing to do because of this off season, you're confused, where should I go? So, I mean, this appeals to a lot of different people, Rob.
Yeah, or if you watched it the first time and
Yeah,
liked it,
definitely.
yeah, come back and we'll take some questions. Are we doing chizzy points?
I mean, I gave my chizzy points,
Okay.
but
All right.
yeah, I mean,
Well, I'll give.
we
I
could
guess I'll
you
give.
give
I gotta
yours.
give
Yeah,
mine, and then see
yeah,
how
that'd be
they.
good.
Could
Be
there
great.
be? Could this change the end result of the Chizzy Points winner? Will these be canon Chizzy Points?
No. The Chizzy's been awarded, the mug has been sent, but I'd be
Hmm.
interested to hear your points.
Okay.
And I think that's a great idea. This was actually the season where we did charity. We did a charity draw for the final Chizzy points. So it's actually the last points were kind of all over the place. In a fun, charitable way. But yeah, I mean, I feel like so much to do. I think at the beginning of the podcast, because we're producing it right now, we should do like a little bit, like just a little bit of a recap. You know, because there might be some people who watched it 2 years ago. Like, you didn't have to rewatch it. I think we hit the main points.
Okay.
And then we get it. I think we should do that. Because
Uh,
if people watched it 2 years ago, they might want to listen but
it's
not
very
watch.
post-show recaps. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't usually go into recapping when I do my
Hmm.
recaps, ironically. Because some people will be like, "Oh, I don't even watch international, but I listen to your podcast." I'm like, I don't advise that you do that. Like, I don't feel
Hmm.
like that is at all. Like, I don't think my medium is good for that. But I do think we should do a couple of minutes, just like here are the highlights,
Hmm.
in case
Yeah.
people forgot
That's
and they don't
fun.
want to. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. We'll do that.
All
So
right.
we'll
And then
bookend it. Your predictions. We'll do. Okay. Great. So we've already got a bit of a format. Would you gonna do cheesy points?
yeah, for this is gonna be fun. So I have been looking forward to this for a long time. So I'm glad we're finally going to be doing that. That's gonna kick off starting on Thursday, June 8th. In the meantime, if you want to hear more from Shannon and myself, we just finished recording a patron podcast. I do a series called Survivor Academy, where we talk about what we've learned from the current survivor that will potentially be lessons that could help future survivors. We talked about everything from the finale and the season as a whole. And that podcast is up for our patrons in our patron podcast feed, which you can get over at robhasawebsite.com/patron. Shannon also has an extensive finale recap that is up with her amazing brother, Jason Gates, who potentially was the inventor of the Rupert Tweets game,
He was a co-creator with me.
co-creator. Yeah.
Do current rap fans remember the Rupert Tweed game? Is that like, are we really? I think I'm dating myself, much like I made a
Mhm.
merge, which is also a dated reference, I
Yeah.
feel.
Maybe we could do the JLP tweets game of like give us a real or fake JLP tweets.
I'm sure I've done that before, but yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
I'm sure I have the JLP tweets in my notes, which are categorized nowhere, Rob. Why would someone categorize their notes as I do? They're impossible to find. Anyway,
You're
I'll search.
That's why there's only one you.
There's no like folder of Brains versus Brawn. There is like a desktop with just like a bunch of crap everywhere, and that is where my notes will be found. But
Mhm.
I'm just gonna go back to that well. So yeah, we might have some JLP tweets. Go back before he was hacked and all that stuff
Before he
happened.
was
So
hacked,
yeah,
pre-hack. Yeah. All right.
yeah. Back to
Shannon,
2021.
what else is coming up for you?
Why did that Patreon podcast?
Mhm.
You gave all my plugs, Rob.
Okay,
I have
that's fine.
all these things.
All
Yeah,
right.
you just said.
All right, well, check that out. And then we will be back in 1 week's time after we rewatch week 1 of Australian Survivor, colon, Brains versus Brawn. Until then, take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.